Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy, their energy, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in and see what we've got here. As always, we're going to look at overall energy through oracle cards, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So with that being said, let's start, Gemini, with your side of this connection, your energy toward the person you are dealing with. Mirroring right out of the gate. Oh my gosh, okay. So we're obviously dealing with a mirrored connection of some sort, grief and sadness. So right now, as things stand in this connection, I feel like there is a lot of grief and sadness about how things currently are. This mirroring, it goes even further into that, and it talks about how I feel like you in this connection probably had this ability to bring out the best in each other, but also maybe the worst in each other. And I feel like, triggering each other's insecurities and fears and traumas and all the things, which I feel like has made it really difficult to navigate. So I feel like we're going to go deeper into that mirroring as we progress, but let's look at this person's overall energy toward you, Gemini. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Person's energy toward Gemini, please. Well, that's confusing. Dream come true with separation. So somebody walked away from this. Now it's interesting because I feel like this person saw this connection as like, oh my gosh, you are a dream come true for them. But then I feel like, I don't know, they could have walked away or they could have done something that pushed you to walk away. Gemini, either way, it's obviously very confusing, right? They saw you as a dream come true, but then, sabotaged or walked away in some way. Like, obviously that's going to be difficult to make sense of. Truth of this connection between Gemini and this person. Trapped. I feel like you feel very stuck in this energy of like what could have been, and just like what you feel you lost because this connection didn't pan out the way that you expected or had wanted it to. This patience card, I feel like you're trying to. Well, it kind of feels like you're trying to like give it time, time will heal. And it's like the more time that goes by, it feels like the harder that it is to really make sense of this and break out of some sort of cycle here that you're in with this person and this connection. So I feel like the point of this reading is really to bring forth some clarity for you to help you understand kind of what's really going on here. So there's a fly right there. There he goes. It's that time of year. They're everywhere. Everywhere. All right. overall theme of this reading for Gemini. Whoa, I'm going to take the 2 that fell face down. It is for the higher good, influence and distractions. I feel like the reason that this person did what they did, walked away or pushed you to walk away in some way, isn't necessarily what you think. It is for the higher good card. I can't tell. It's either talking like divine protection or like it happened for a reason. Not to move you further away from love, but to take you closer to the love that you deserve. And never again, which is all about breaking cycles. So I feel like this connection was put into your life to help you break some sort of a cycle in love, like in your relationships. I don't know. But yeah, it's like the reason that they walked away like isn't what you think, or the reason that they sabotaged isn't what you think. I don't know which one. I feel like they walked away because they have the separation card here. But I also feel like you could have been the one to walk away from this too. Like, but I feel like it wasn't your choice. Like you wish you didn't have to kind of thing, but you did because of something that they did or a way that they acted or something of that nature. But let's see. This is Gemini side of this, grief and sadness with mirroring. Which when I see the mirroring card, it's always this indication that there is a deeper purpose, that there is something that Spirit is teaching us to learn, you to learn in the connection. Like when we're in mirrored connections, there's always a lesson there. All right. Gemini side of this connection, please. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like this connection kind of feels like brought almost all of your insecurities to the surface with this 9 of Swords here. I feel like, all of the ways that you felt not good enough or unlovable or undeserving or whatever the case might be, it kind of feels was really highlighted in this connection, in particular by this person's behavior and the things that they did. This Queen of Wands is interesting too because it could be dealing with a fire sign, but I also feel that this was kind of your energy in this. I feel like, the Queen of Wands is always a very like compassionate, caring, like warm energy. And I feel like you brought a lot of that to the table in this connection. And it feels like what you received was a little bit of coldness, almost like you weren't met at the depth of the warmth that you provided. And this Knight of Cups in reverse is very much about triggers. I feel like this connection was so triggering. The way that things unfolded, so triggering in so many ways. And it's like, I feel like this is one of those situations where it's like it's hurting more, like it hits harder than like a connection usually has, just because of how intense things feel here. But let's keep going here. Gemini side of this. Star with the 7 of Cups. I feel like you really wanted to be a light for this person. Almost like you knew or know that they were struggling in some way and you wanted to help them. Maybe you wanted to be, to love them in a way that they had never really experienced love before. Like it just kind of feels like your intentions were to like help them in some sort of way. But then I feel like you kind of ended up getting screwed over, especially if you poured a lot into this and you were really there to like take care of them and be there for them and, help them maybe through a difficult time. But then, first of all, I don't feel like you received that in return. And then second of all, I don't feel like it's like the way that they acted was like, really, like after all that I've done for you kind of thing. Not that you're coming from that place or that, but I do definitely feel that you really prioritize them. I feel like you prioritize them, you prioritize the connection, and I feel like the energy that you're in has you in this place of feeling really screwed over. Now, I I think a lot of the times when we do kind of get, for lack of a better term, screwed over by another person, even after we've done so much for them and we've poured so much into that connection, it can feel like no matter what we do, it's never enough. It can feel like we're like, well, I gave you literally everything that I had, or I showed up in the best way that I knew how. And I'm not saying you were perfect, right? We all make mistakes. But I do definitely feel that there was something that about this connection that was necessary for you to experience. And I don't mean that in the sense that like you deserved it or anything, like definitely not that. But I feel like there was something that had to happen here in order to bring healing into your life. It's almost like because the star is all about healing, but it's almost like the healing that this connection is trying to present you with, it's like that's what's going to ultimately lead you to the love that you deserve. So this had to happen to heal certain aspects of yourself to help lead you to what it is that you're looking for. So it's not Spirit trying to take away the love that you deserve and desire, but instead help show you the ways in which you're needing to heal here. But I'm sure there's so much more to it than that. This person's energy toward you, Gemini. Separation with dream come true. This person's energy toward Gemini. The way that this person behaved in this is so interesting. Oh, there it is. There's the mirroring right out of the gate. Nine of Swords. I literally said you guys mirrored each other's insecurities. And the first card, I mean, obviously this one was covering it, but on the bottom was the Nine of Swords. And then for you, the first card was the Nine of Swords too. So I definitely feel that there is, you guys really mirrored each other's insecurities. And what that usually looks like is like, the way that you behave and act, brings out their insecurities, and then the way that they behave and act kind of brings out yours. And it can sometimes be like, the way that they behave brings out your insecurities, which causes you to act a certain way, which brings out their insecurities, and it's just like it becomes this this difficult spiral, if you will. Interesting. Four of Pentacles in reverse with the King of Pentacles in reverse. This is really interesting because I don't know what the heck this is trying to say yet. We'll get there. My goodness. Those? Okay. Let me clarify. So Two of Swords, World, Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I want to clarify this Knight of Pentacles in reverse here. Four of Wands. Okay. Yeah, this is really confusing. So this person obviously saw this connection as like, oh my gosh, this is everything that I've ever wanted. And I feel like you saw it in that way too, which is why I feel like this has been so difficult, is because of what you were hoping to get out of this. But the Four of Pentacles in reverse is this energy of like ripping the rug getting ripped out underneath you. And they did the ripping. It feels that they did the ripping of the rug. They pulled the rug out from underneath you. And I was kind of trying to make sense of like, okay, but why, right? If they see this as a dream come true, if they see this as what it is that they want, because especially with this Four of Wands, like this is like, to me, having a vision or having an idea of what you want your life to look like. And I feel like you aligned a lot with that idea. And to be honest with you, I feel what happened is that scared the living hell out of them. It kind of feels like this felt like something that was too good to be true for them, and so they reacted from this place of trying to protect themselves, which happens. It happens when, that's the funny thing about human beings, is we're actually very afraid of the things that we desire, and we're very used to what we're used to, where we prefer what we're used to. And when we lack the love that we deserve or the freedom that we deserve or whatever the case is, what we don't realize, and when we've gotten so comfortable in that lack, is that part of us actually starts to choose it. We start to make decisions that keep us in that lack because our ego, primary goal is survival, right? So it wants to keep us in spaces and places it knows how to survive. So a lot of times what it'll do is it'll make decisions that actually go against what our soul and our heart desires and what actually aligns with what we're used to. And for this person, like especially with this Knight of Pentacles here, well, you do have the Knight of Pentacles, but I'm talking about the King of Pentacles in reverse. It feels like this person is very used to like surface level things, surface level connections, surface level conversation, like someone who doesn't get very intimate. They don't allow a lot of people in. And I feel like this connection comes around and it has so much depth and it has so much potential and it has so much that is possible in it that it's something that this person quite literally didn't know how to handle because they've never experienced anything like that before. They've never experienced the depth of a connection like this. So it immediately started to trigger their deeper fears and insecurities, because if they've been hurt before and they've been hurt before keeping things surface level, then the second that they start to get deeper into a connection or that they let themselves be vulnerable, they believe that they're going to get hurt. They believe that the second that they let somebody in, that they're going to get hurt in some sort of way, because they don't believe that they're worthy, that they're deserving of love, right? And I feel like because of that, they're kind of trapped in their own cycle of running from what it is that they desire. In this specific situation was very much you. And I think that that's where Spirit is trying to bring to the surface this understanding of what really happened here, is to let you know that the reason that this person didn't choose you, or the reason that they walked away, or the reason that they sabotaged, like whatever kind of fits the wording for you, I feel like has more to do with their feelings of being not good enough than it does anything to do with you. Because I think that I said from the beginning, when we pour into somebody else and that person doesn't, choose us, value us, or ends up hurting us in some way, we can go, oh my God, does that mean that, I deserve this, or that this is all that I'm worth, or like, why didn't they see my value? And to be honest with you, I feel like they did very much see your value, but I feel like they had no idea what to do with it. It's kind of like, when somebody isn't used to value, like experiencing valuable things, it's almost like they don't know how to cherish it or how to take care of it. And it's so interesting too, because I feel like where this person stands emotionally, well, first of all, I feel like they're very emotionally closed off. So they're not making any of these decisions on like a conscious level basis. The majority of the decisions that we make are subconscious anyway. Or at least coming from, subconscious reasoning. And I think that this person holds a lot of like, I need to do what I can to protect myself. I need to do what I can to keep other people at a distance, maybe to try to control other people or whatever the case might be. And I feel like because of that, they walked away and tried to it's like they tried to find a reason to. But the reason deep down is actually that they're very afraid of what it is that they desire. Now, the thing that's really important for you to know is that, yeah, right, obviously this person's got some healing to do. They've got some work to do on themselves. They're very much a runner. They're a runner for sure. They run from anything that, to be honest with you, I feel like is real. I feel like they chase after things that are surface level, that feed the ego, but they run from anything that is real, and that's something that they're going to have to address, because they're going to keep evading the things that they desire the second that they keep choosing to allow that their insecurities and their fears to keep them in the cycle of running. And I feel like there's a need to look at not necessarily what this person needs to do differently, but what this cycle is bringing toward you. One thing that I've seen that's very common in like the runner and chaser dynamic, because that's kind of what's happening here. It's the chasing love and somebody who pushes it away. Is that typically both do both, meaning that the chaser tends to chase love in people who don't love them well, but also tends to run from the love that from people who do love them well. And the same thing for the runner. The runner runs away from the love that they truly deserve and chases after the love that isn't able to show up for them, and that keeps them stuck in this cycle of like this vicious cycle, both of you stuck in this vicious cycle of never having the love that you deserve, especially if there's this chaser runner back and forth between you two. And so I feel like instead of looking at the ways in which they push away the love that they deserve, kind of looking at the mirror there and asking the question like, how am I pushing away the love that I deserve by chasing it in somebody who doesn't love me well, and somebody who doesn't choose me, and somebody who isn't able to show up for me in a vulnerable way? Because I feel like that might help answer more questions for you and ultimately break you out of the sadness and the pain and the all the stuff that this connection has brought to the surface for you. Because I feel like there's this again, I said it. This connection is trying to help you break a cycle. It's not trying to keep you from the love that you deserve. It's not trying to put you through hell for no reason. I truly feel like the purpose of this, and there's a reason that you have, it is for the higher good, as I really feel that Spirit is trying to bring to the surface for you what needs to be addressed and healed so that you can change the way that you show up for yourself in relationships, so you can have the love that you truly deserve and desire. Because it's obvious that like if this person were to show up for themselves, they wouldn't run from love, right? They would do the work to not do that, to not push away love, to not sabotage it. And I think a lot of times we look at it and we're like, well, if they really loved me, they would do these things. But the real answer is if they really loved themselves, they would do these things. If this person really loved themselves and believed that they were worthy and deserving of love, if they see this as a dream come true, they would do whatever is necessary to make that work, to make that happen for them, right? So this isn't about them not loving you enough. This is about them not loving themselves enough. And if other people don't honor their own emotional experience, they're certainly not going to honor ours. So even if it feels like they didn't kind of take your feelings into account based on what they did, to be honest with you, they're not taking their own feelings into account. They're not doing what is right by them, much less by you. And so I think that when we start to see things from that perspective, we can start to take our power back, because we stop looking at other people's behavior as a reflection of our value and our worth, and we start looking at it as a reflection of how much we value ourselves. Because if every connection in our life is a mirror, some more than others, then there's always something deeper that needs to be addressed and learned there. And every single relationship is showing us something within ourselves. And I feel like this connection is no different. And there's a need to address whatever it's bringing to the surface so that you can break this cycle, so that you can have the love that you have been looking for and maybe you feel like you haven't been able to experience to this point. We're going to dive into this more, looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self in the extended. Any information for that, again, is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right. Bye, Gemini.